All right, so let's take a look at multiplication for today. Let me work questions 21 through 28. The first four are just numbers, but I'm not going to do the traditional way. And what I mean with traditional way, you guys know the 725 times 413. You guys write them something like this, and you guys write at the bottom. So that's the traditional way. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the lattice method. All right, so it's a 3 by 3 numbers. I count how many digits the first one has, 3. How many digits the second one has, 3. So I'm gonna do a 3 by 3 box. Actually, I'm gonna do what we call the lattice method. So it looks like this. I'm gonna multiply 725 times 413. I'm gonna write it like this. I don't worry about the sign yet. I'll worry about the sign later. I notice one number is positive, the other one's negative. I'll worry about the sign later. Now, what I'm going to do, each box, I'm gonna cut it in half. So let me use blue. So I'm gonna go like this. Notice how each box, I cut it in half. And for my numbers, I'm gonna multiply for each box, each rectangle that I see there, I'm gonna multiply the number on the top with the number at the side. And I'm gonna write my number using 2 digits. For example, my first squared is 7 times 4, right? The number on the top multiply with the number at the side. 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm gonna write 28 there. Now I'm not gonna say you have to fill out the boxes in any order. You fill up the box that you wish first, like any order that you want. It's just that the number on the top multiply with the number at the side. The next box I want to see, the one at the right, on the top in the middle, is 2 times 4. I know 2 times 4 is 8. So writing it using 2 digits, I'm going to write that as 0, 8. And then I know 5 times 4 is 20. 7 times 1 is 7. So I write that as 0, 7. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. Have that 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 3 is 6. And 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so now my answer. My answer is going to come out really nice. On the first row, you guys see it right this way. My first row is just the 5. So I'm going to write the 5 here. I'm going to add the digits per row. The second row, you guys see it there. Let me take that out. So let me use lime green so we can see our numbers. Let me add those digits, 5 plus 1 plus 6. I know that's 12. So I'm going to write the 2, carry the 10. My next row, let me add the digits, 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1. Right? I ignore the zeros, so I'm going to look at this as 1 plus 2 plus 1. I'm going to call that 4. My next row, you guys can see it here. Add the digits, that gives me 19. So I'm going to write the 9, carry the 10. My next row, we can see here, add the digits, that gives me a 9. And on the last row, that gives me a 2. Cool. Now, here's going to be my answer. My answer is wrapped around the box. I see 2, 9, 9, 4, 2, 5. So in fact, let me separate in groups of 3. So 299,425. That's it. That's my answer. When it comes to signs, I notice that one of my numbers is negative, the other one is positive. When the signs are different, so that means that one of them is a negative, my answer will be all negative. It doesn't matter which one is negative, the bigger number, the small number, as long as one of them is negative in multiplication, my entire answer is negative. If one of them is positive, if both of them are negative, or both of them are positive, so if the signs are the same, both of them are positive, or both of them are negative, my answer will be positive. All right, let's take a look at another example. Let's take a look at number 22. It's a 3 by 3 multiplication again. So let me draw a 3 by 3 table here. So let me do this in black so we keep the same colors. So I'm gonna do a 3 by 3, and I'm gonna multiply 312 times 401. Let me cut each of my squares in half. Let me fill out the easy ones. The rows in the middle, they're all zeros. Because remember, for each square, I multiply the number on the top with the number at the side. 3 times 0, 1 times 0, or 2 times 0. Every time I multiply by 0, I get 0. So, okay, I fill out the easy one. Now, my boxes on the top, my first box is 12, right? Because 3 times 4. The second box is 0, 4, right? Because 1 times 4 is 4. But I have to write it using 2 digits, so 0, 4. Then I'm going to have 0, 8. Looking at the boxes at the bottom, 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 1. Now, let me add my rows. I'm going to color the rows so we can follow it. So here's going to be my answer. My first row is a 1. My second row, add the digits. That's also a 1. The next row, 8 plus 3, because I ignored the zeros. 8 plus 3 is 11. So write down the 1, carry the 10. My next row, it's 5. My next row, it's a 2, right? I'm just adding my digits. And on my last row, it's a 1. You guys can see the numbers. The answer is going to be 1, 2, 5, 1, 1, 1. So 125,111. Oh, my bad. 112. Because 2 times 1 was 2. Okay, so 125,112. My numbers, one of them is negative, one of them is positive. So my answer is all negative. Cool. Let's do it again. Let's take a look at number 23. It's a 3 by 3 again. So I'm going to do a 3 by 3. Now for your homework, they're not going to be 3 by 3s. I might go a 2 by 2 operation, a 3 by 2. When I say 3 by 3 is 3 digits by 3 digits. Your numbers in the homework are going to be a little less than this. And my numbers I'm going to write, I'm going to go 217 times 317. Let me cut my squares in half. Remember, for each square is the number on the top multiplied by the number on the side. So I get 2 times 3, 1 times 3, 7 times 3, 2 times 1, 1 times 1, 7 times 1, 2 times 7, 1 times 7, and 7 times 7. I'm going to add my rows. So there's a 9. 7 plus 4 plus 7, that's 18. So let me write the 8. Let me carry the 10. Add my digits. That gives me a 7. And then add the digits. That gives me an 8. That gives me a 6. And the last one is a 0. I'm going to ignore it. My answer, as you guys can see, is going to be 68,789. You guys can see the answer wrapped around here, which is pretty cool. Now, negative times a negative, my signs, negative times a negative, it's a positive. So my answer is 68,789. Pretty cool. Now let's take a look at number 24. Again, I have a 3x3 box here. Now I'm going to multiply 421 times 468. Let me cut each of my squares in half. For each square is the number in the top, multiply with the number at the side. So I get 16, 8, and 4. I get 24, 12, and 6. I have 4 times 8, I know is 32. 2 times 8 is 16, and 1 times 8 is 8. Now when I add the digits, there's an 8 there. I know here 6 plus 6 is 12, so write down the 2, carry the 10. 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2, that's 10. So write down the 0, carry down the 10. Let's see, 1 plus 8 plus 1, that's 10. Plus 4 plus 3, that's 17. Add the digits, I get a 9, and then 1. So my answer is going to be 197,028. Now the signs, one of them is positive, one of them is negative. So signs are different. Multiplication, my answer would be negative. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Now let's talk about decimals. Let me deal with decimals. For us to begin with, let me ignore the decimals. So it looks like a 3x3. Let me ignore the decimals to begin with. I'm gonna go 724 multiplied by 717. Again, to begin with, let me ignore the decimals. I know 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 2 is 14. And 4 times 7 is 28. Interesting part is these boxes at the bottom are going to repeat. The ones in the middle, 7 times 1 is 7. Remember, you got to write it as 2 digits. 2 times 1 is 2. And then 4 times 1 is 4. Let me add my digits. So there's an 8. Let's see, that's a 10. So carry down the 1. Let's add the digits. 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9. Let's see, 10, 21. So 21, carry down the 20. Add the digits here. So let's see, that's 8, 15, 19. Carry down the 10. 9, 10, 11, and 5. So for us to begin with, let me just write my digits. 519108. I know my answer is going to be negative. Like I said, let me write the digits first. Now, I know it's supposed to have a decimal place. Let me see how many decimal places I have in my numbers. Now, decimal places means how many numbers after the decimal point. In my first number, I'm going to say I have 1 decimal place, right? How many numbers after the decimal place? On my second number here, I'm going to say I have 2. Now, 1 and 2 combined, 1 plus 2, isn't that 3? My answer then should have 3 decimal places. Okay, what do I mean with that? 3 numbers after the decimal place. Okay, so negative 519.108. Cool, that's not bad. Let's take a look at number 26. Looks like 3x3. Again, I'm ignoring my decimal right now. I'm just gonna cut my squares in half. And I'm gonna write 523 times 613. 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. So gotta write that as 0, 5. 2 times 1 is 0, 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 times 3 is 9. So my first row is a 9. I add the digits on the second row. It's a 9. I add the digits on the next one. It's 15. So write down the 5, carry down the 10 to the next row. Add the digits on this one. So let's see, 5, 1, 2, 4, 9, 10. And 2 and 3. Okay, so I see my digits. Let's go 3, 2, 0, 5, 9, 9. When it comes to signs, it's going to be positive, right? Because the two numbers were negative. Negative times to negative is positive. So it's going to be positive. Now, let me count the decimal places. My first number has 2 decimal places, right? How many numbers after the decimal point? My second number has 1 decimal place. So 2 and 1, that's 3, right? I add. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer should have 3 decimal places. So 3 numbers after the decimal point. So it goes right here. 320.599. All right, the last two for today. Let's see. It's a 3x3 box. I'm gonna go 152 times 173. Let me cut my boxes in half. The first box, 1 times 1, 5 times 1, 2 times 1. All right, the second row, 1 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. 2 times 7. Now the bottom, 1 times 3, 5 times 3, and then 2 times 3. My number here at the very far right is going to be a 6. Let's see, so 5 plus 4, that's going to give me a 9. Let's see here, if I add my digits, that gives me 12. So carry the 10. Let's see, that 16. Carry the 10. That's a 2, and then the last number is a 0. I'm not going to write it. So let me write my digits for right now. So 26296. My answer is going to be negative because negative times a positive is negative. My first number I have 1 decimal place and then 1 decimal place. So my answer should have 2 decimal places. That's it. Lastly, let's take a look at number 28. Let me do a 3x3 box. 314 times 134. All right, so 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4. And then 4 times 4. Remember, it's always the number on the top times the number at the side. Let me add my digits. So that's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 10. So let me write down the 0. Carry the 10. That's a 12. Like I said, I'm adding my digits. And that's a 4. So digit-wise, 42076. Negative, right? Because positive times a negative. Here I have 2 decimal places. Here I have 1 decimal place. So my answer should have 3 decimal places. That's it.